Call this meeting to order. It's December 17th, the time is 7:02. It's the Elbert County Planning Commission. And in tradition, we always start our meetings with a prayer and a pledge. So could we please all stand? We'll pray for each and every one's prayers or needs. We pray for one, a joyful Christmas. Hopefully everybody celebrates Christmas this year. Pray for the preservation of life at all stages. Pray for the protection of all in any position. And pray for the well-being of those suffering and those in death. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Okay. Roll call, please.
Danny Wilcox.
Here.
Kevin Kirkwood.
Present.
Van Sands. Dee Dee Schott-Grace. Robert Politik.
Here.
John Gresham.
Here.
John Waller. John Waller. Absent. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, Wendy, remember to turn off your cell phones. Okay, staff report. Do we have anything? Jennifer, do we? Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome.
Hey, how y'all doing? Mark Denreader, Director of Community and Economic Development. It's great to be back in the chair here and just have an update for you. These just a couple items that the Planning Commission heard that went on to the Board of County Commissioners with your recommendations. Since the last time this board met, the BOCC did convene on December 11th, and they heard the Ingalls rezone case that was approved. They also heard the water master plan. That was a presentation to the BOCC last week. And that concludes our updates from staff. So in last week's hearing, the BOCC just heard under discussion items the water master plan, and we presented to them. Tomorrow in the BOCC meeting, that item will be on the consent agenda for them to accept. Okay.
Mark, thank you. All right, consent agenda.
None.
Citizen comments unrelated to any application we have tonight. Do we have any comments out there? Seeing none? Okay. We've got a set of meeting minutes. November 12th? Did we review the minutes? Did anybody look through those? Did we? How they look? Okay. We need to read them, or can we have a motion? Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Can we forego the reading? Okay? Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, now we're going to go into our public hearing process. We have one item on the agenda tonight. Our public hearing process starts. We're a quasi-judicial group. We actually judge the application based on our two sets of codes, zoning regs and the subdivision regulations. That's what dictate kind of what CDS goes by. Out of that, what can come out of this hearing is only a recommendation. And a recommendation can go three ways: a recommendation to approve, a recommendation to deny, or a recommendation to approve with conditions. So the process and how it will go here tonight is our folks over here will present the application, and then we will ask the applicant to expand or present their side of it. And then at that point, we'll open it up for public comment. We'll take comments from citizens, take notes. After we close that, then we will go back and ask the applicant and staff, hopefully to maybe address some of the things that came up in public comment. After that's completed, then we will go around the board and each of us will obtain information or ask questions, what have you. Then the final, after we complete that, then we'll vote. So, with that, let's start it tonight. Who's going to be presenting? Jennifer, please.
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. The public hearing item for you tonight is Independence Planned Unit Development Amendment Number 4, Case PD 2024-7520. Some highlight information. The site that is applicable for the proposed PUD amendment is the same as Independence Filing 5, which is approximately 377 acres. The current zoning is Planned Unit Development, or PUD. And the request is an amendment to the PUD. It's essentially text amendment only. And I'll go into the details of that, but it's essentially one, to clarify lot widths, and second, to clarify side yard setbacks. But because this is a planned unit development, those types of specifications are in the PUD text itself. So those changes come before you all and the Board of County Commissioners for approval. A zoning map, the purple area that we're looking at there, the blue highlight, or sort of teal highlight, is the Filing 5 area. This is the area where this PUD amendment would apply. And you can see the platted area there to the east is the existing Independence PUD areas and those additional filings. And the project is surrounded by agriculture zoned property and some other residential zonings on the south. Summary of this project, as mentioned, this is for a text amendment only. It doesn't change any boundaries or any density or anything like that. This PUD amendment would apply to the area of Filing 5 only. If this looks somewhat familiar, there was a similar or exactly the same amendment done a little more than a year ago. That was referred to as Amendment Number 3, but that only applied to Filing 4. And I'm going to show a map here in just another slide or two to sort of clarify that. And this current amendment would not apply to Filings 1 through 4, again for Filing 5 only. This graphic is designed to help sort of show which PUDs are applicable to which filings. The area shown in red is that original Filing 1, that was the original PUD. Amendment 2 is shown in blue, which is Filings 2 and 3, which are existing. The green area is Filing 4, or Amendment 3, just to be a little bit confusing there with the numbers. That's what was approved back in November of 2023. And then the area shown in yellow is consistent with Filing 5 and is the area which would be applicable to this PUD Amendment Number 4, which is the remainder of the Independence PUD area. So the actual changes that are proposed before you tonight are shown in this graphic and in the staff report. They are quite minor in nature. The first change is a clarification on the allowable minimum lot widths for the various types of lots. Those were shown in a range before, which was a little bit confusing. That's being clarified as a minimum lot width. And then the other change has to do with the side yard setback, adding a note to clarify for the alternative single family, which is essentially attached single family product. The note clarifies that there would be a 5-yard setback on one side. The other side would be a 0-yard setback where you have an attached housing product. Those are the only changes that this amendment would approve. A timeline of this project, this was submitted in September of this year. It did go through a review cycle in October. All the notice requirements for this hearing tonight were met per the Elbert County zoning regulations. The project was reviewed. All of the agencies shown on this slide did respond. There's no outstanding comments or concerns. No comments from the public have been received on this project. And I have a summary of the approval criteria. The exact language is provided in the staff report. But as a summary, the approval criteria 1 is that it's consistent with the comprehensive plan. There's not an issue with that for, again, these minor text changes. 2, whether it's compatible with the surrounding land uses. Again, there's no changes proposed to any land uses, density, or anything like that. 3, would it adversely impact the public services? It is not believed that these minor text changes would cause any impact there. Similarly, no adverse impact to the environment. Would these changes impact traffic congestion or burden the road system? It is not believed so. And finally, would it be detrimental to the current or future county residents for health, safety, or welfare? Again, it is not believed that those text amendments would have that effect. Therefore, the recommendation of staff, based on the approval criteria found in the Elbert County Zoning Regulations, Article 7, Letter F, and the findings in the staff report, recommend that the Planning Commission make a recommendation of approval with conditions for this proposal. Those are the standard 3 conditions having to do that the applicant would remove the public hearing signs, that everything has to be paid and documents recorded in a timely manner before the PUD amendment would become effective. Again, that's a pretty quick summary, but this is a pretty simple request. Staff is available to answer any questions you might have, and the applicant is also here to speak on this item for you.
Thank you.
My name is Mark Kiefer with Norris Design at 1101 Bannock Street, Denver, Colorado, 80204. I'm representing craft companies tonight and independents, as I've done many times in the past. And I hope I'm not the first to wish you all Merry Christmas, or it's too early to wish you that, but it's amazing it's upon us now, and I'm hoping that you have a great holiday season with your families. But, and again, thank you for your time. Being the only one on the agenda, I feel like special effort is made just for this item, and I appreciate that from all the commissioners tonight. As Jennifer said, this issue is fairly simple. It's something that has been before the Planning Commission at least once before, and also the Board of County Commissioners, was approved unanimously with our filing for application about a year ago. And I don't want to belabor the issue, but just wanted to emphasize one of the things that Jennifer had brought up. This is what I would consider a cleanup item in terms of our PUD development standard document, which is part of the zoning. It's a part of the text side of things that you approve when you approve the PUD. And the reason for it had been something that came up in the review of the filing for subdivision over a year ago when it was being reviewed by your staff and your consultants, that this original range of lot widths created a problem for them to, and us as well, to interpret when a street curves or a cul-de-sac, at the end of a cul-de-sac, it creates narrow front yards, or in some cases, wide front yards. And the correlation between those yard widths and the size of the lot, which is the other criteria that's in here, those don't always match. So we decided with the staff's guidance back then, we'll just get rid of the range and just go to the minimum lot width. That allowed us and your staff to at least have a clear understanding when they review it that they're only looking at minimum lot widths, not a range, which became problematic in terms of looking at overall size of lots. The second change that Jennifer had mentioned too was the definition of side yard for what we call the alternative lot definition. So in Independence, There's a provision in there that allows for duplex homes. They're none planned right now, but that alternative lot didn't describe what the side yard setback would be. So what we provided there, and this is again was the guidance of the staff that was reviewing this at the time, suggested that at least one of those two side yard lots have a 0 side yard setback. That allowed for a duplex or two houses put together. So those are the only two changes that have happened with this amendment. No density has changed. The land use plan has not changed. So basically it's a fairly straightforward house cleaning item. But again, I'm here to answer any questions and, you know, guide you through the process too.
Thank you. All right. Now, at this time, we'll open it up for public comment. Do we have anybody who would like to speak? Seeing none? I guess not. Okay, we'll close the public comment down. Round the horn. Dee Dee. Dan.
I just have a couple questions, if you don't mind. And usually, as usual, they're easy questions. The setback was 0 feet. Said you don't have any duplexes planned. You just leaving the door open for future duplexes?
Yeah. So future filing 5, what's described as filing 5, you have not seen filing 5 yet before you as an application. But what it's describing is everything left over in Independence, so everything to the western edge of the property. There are a couple other potential filings within that, 2 in particular, that may have a duplex product, but none have been planned yet.
Okay. And I saw the recommendation from the fire department, if you create duplexes, will you be putting in sprinkler systems?
Yes. Yeah, we're going to abide by that's a policy that they have, and we understand that.
And then, as we're looking at this, did you reduce the potential for some of these lots to be bigger?
No, actually.
You went from a minimum to 80. Doesn't really show that you're going to go to the 100 plus. Probably are not looking at the drawing. Is that a fair characterization?
I think, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Actually, the trend right now seems to be going to larger lots. So we like to keep the options open until we're completely platted or subdivided. But it seems like through the next couple filings that we'll see at build-out, probably going to see most of what pretty much the same as what you've seen so far.
So when we see the final filing, will we see those duplexes calculated as part of that?
Yes. Yeah, it's in the overall unit count of 1,400 units.
Right.
That number has not changed or will not change.
Yeah, I was going to ask that question next because I was looking at it going, okay, so if you reduce the physical lot size, can you squeeze another house in there?
No, it's fixed at 1,400 with the overall zoning.
Appreciate that. The last question is for Jennifer. Filing 5, is the whole thing 377 acres, or is it just filing 5 that's 377 acres?
Just filing 5.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Isn't that about?
Yep. And if I can explain that too, it's kind of unique to this project. And again, you have not seen filing 5 yet. We describe it as filing 5 within this application. But filing 5 is the existing, there'll be a subdivision that looks like you have seen in the rest of Independence, and then the remaining portion of the property. The reason why we're platting the whole remaining portion of the property is that we're also realigning Delbert Road. And if you can see how Delbert Road used to be a north-south street, a street that basically ran the whole western boundary. We moved that road inside now, primarily for 2 reasons. One, for safety. The intersection that we were looking at Hilltop and Delbert was on a hill, and if you've ever been out there, it's a pretty dangerous intersection, and nothing we could do engineering-wise would make it any safer. So working with the county staff, particularly engineering, we moved the road farther east, as you can see there. That gives a better window, if you will, for that new intersection. And that was also in conjunction with some of the work we did with the fire district too. They had some concerns about it as well. So filing 5 now basically allows for that whole new Delbert Road alignment. The second reason, which is a collateral benefit, it was a benefit that we had, we knew was going to be beneficial. The neighbors to the west, in Douglas County primarily, don't have a road in their backyard anymore. So that became two benefits in one, so to speak. So that's what we'll be coming to the Planning Commission and presenting sometime probably March or April of next year. So you'll see the full picture of what we call now filing 5.
No more questions, thank you.
Thank you.
None for me.
Okay. So, we have a motion.
I move that the Plan Commission makes a recommendation of approval to the Board of County Commissioners for case number PD 2024-7520.
A motion, do we have a second? All right, any further discussion?
Mr. Chair, may I clarify, is that motion for straight approval or approval with the recommended conditions?
With the recommended conditions.
Thank you for clarifying.
You bet.
Okay, we have motion, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, so at this point, what do we have? Anything else? Thank you. Oh, a motion to adjourn.
I recommend we adjourn.
Thank you, guys.
Aye.
Quick meeting.
Yeah.
All right.
Clerical.
Mm-hmm.
That's easy. Where's the easy button?
It made no sense to have a variable for minimum. It